there's one simple sales tactic that's so effective that it's almost unethical to use on your sales calls. And I've personally used this on literally all of my sales calls over the last 3 years. I've taken thousands of calls, closed millions of dollars personally over Zoom calls in high ticket sales using this strategy. So in this video, I want to share exactly what this is, why it's so extremely effective, and how you can use this on your own sales calls to close literally anyone that you speak with. And this is for you if you're brand new and you're trying to get into remote high ticket sales and want to get extremely good at sales and learn how to sell at the highest level, or if you're already in remote high ticket sales, you want to get better. This is going to be exactly the number one principle really that exists in sales for how to do so. Because I see so many gurus online talking about this is how to handle the think about objection. This is how to handle someone who wants to speak with their spouse. This is how to handle like the money objection. People just sharing this advice, and honestly, like most of that stuff that's shared out there, it's BS. Most gurus, they tell you this is the way to handle objections, and they give you some like random rebuttal or like some way of just handling objections, some like one-liner that you're supposed to say. That is BS. That stuff does not work. I've tried it, and there's one thing that works way better than all that stuff. And I'm going to share with you, I know I've been teasing you for a bit now, so I'm going to share with you what it actually is. And basically what it all comes down to is I need you to understand that, think about it from the prospect's perspective. You know, if you're on a sales call, you have the salesperson and then you have the prospect. The prospect, if they have an objection, for example, if they're unsure about something, if they're scared to invest into themselves to actually buy a coaching program or like a service, whatever you're selling, you know, you saying the perfect one-liner, you saying the perfect like 2-sentence objection handle, overcome, whatever it is, you know, doesn't matter if they don't feel like you're genuinely there to serve them, you know, because the mistake that a lot of people make, and the thing I'm talking about right now, comes down to two different things. Number one, prospects, customers, potential customers, they hate salespeople. They hate feeling like they're being sold to. And when they come with an objection and you handle that with like the rebuttal that you've learned from some like Instagram reel or some like shitty sales mentor out there, like most people, they feel like you're a salesperson. You go from having like a good, fun conversation and like they feel like they can actually trust you, which is super, super important, like having trust on a sales call and keeping trust, to them feeling like you're a salesperson trying to close them because you're just saying a rebuttal. You're not hearing them, you're not understanding them. This is so important to understand that your focus needs to go from, okay, what's the perfect thing to say on my sales call? What's the perfect objection handler, you know, to understanding the person, having a real conversation and then seeking to understand the person. Because the truth is, if you go into your sales call with only the intention to understand the person you're speaking with, you will close deals. I used to do this myself for a long time, making this mistake where I was like hopping on sales calls and I was like, okay, if I just say this perfect like analogy or whatever after they give me an objection, they will buy. That stuff does not work. The reason why you're not closing more deals right now, the reason why you're struggling to like do sales calls in general, the reason why I struggle to do sales was because I was thinking that the script is like the end all be all, you know? A script is great and having like memorized lines can be great, especially in the beginning. But at the end of the day, if you guys have a real conversation, be a real human being, that's gonna allow you to make way more money, specifically in remote high ticket sales, because people don't trust salespeople, you know? If you, like basically the less of a salesperson you can seem like, the more money that you will make. So what your focus should be on instead of memorizing these specific lines and like having these rebuttals memorized and things like that, what your focus needs to be on to get to the highest level in sales, remote high ticket sales, become a really, really good closer in this industry, is the best closers, the guys that make like 40, 50K a month in this industry. What they do is they're basically just extremely strong and certain leaders. And here's what I mean by this. If you want to close people, if you want to be able to enroll people, get people to pay you like $5,000, $10,000 to enroll into a coaching program to change their life, which is basically what remote high ticket sales is. You're asking people to invest pretty much like all their life savings a lot of times to change their life and get help changing in terms of a coaching program, in terms of a service, whatever it is. If you're asking people to do that, you can't do that if you yourself are not willing to invest money into your self-development. If you wake up like 2 hours after your alarm goes off, if you skip workouts, if you're like just lying to yourself on a daily basis. And that is why the best closers, the way that I was able to go from like making just a couple of $1,000 per month to scaling to over 10K a month and then beyond that, was by just becoming more certain in myself, developing this confidence, the way I'm speaking to you right now, by just having my life dialed in. When I say I'm gonna do something, I do that. I challenge like people in my surrounding. I hold myself and other people in my surrounding to higher standards, and that's how you're able to show up to a sales call and hold your prospects to higher standards as well. Because you can't be like, no one is gonna, if you yourself, you can't hold promises. You set out you're gonna do something. You say you're gonna wake up at 5 a.m. You don't do it. Like that's gonna transfer in how you show up on your sales calls. The prospect is gonna feel that, you know. You can't sit there and like push someone to like, yeah, you have to invest this money and like push yourself forward and do this uncomfortable, scary thing to change your life. If you yourself don't do that, you know, you're not gonna be able to show up on a sales call in a different way than you show up in your everyday life. That's why self-development and becoming certain and like just improving as a person is by far the most powerful thing you can do to get good at sales. This beats all sales tactics. Everything that you hear people talk about online in terms of like, yeah, say this and this is the perfect rebuttal and this is how to handle objections, this is how you run your sales calls. If you just get extremely certain, become a strong leader and develop self-confidence by just holding your promises to yourself and holding yourself to extremely high standards, you will close so much money, like you'll make so much money, you know? This is literally like the cheat code to how I'm able to make like multiple 6 figures per year in high ticket sales, because I've become certain, I developed this confidence to the point where I can be on a sales call and I can have so much leadership that I can basically just like tell someone what they should do because they trust me, because I show that authority, I have that energy, like I've been there and like my life is dialed in. I don't break promises to myself. I don't let people around it. I don't let my friends, my family like talk in a vague way or like make BS excuses or just like I don't accept that type of behavior for myself or for others. And when you show up in that way, people, they respect that, you know. And for example, if you would never push off an important decision, then like you wouldn't hop on a sales call. If you yourself would never like push off making an important life decision, it wouldn't make sense for you to be on a sales call and just like accept someone else to just like, yeah, I want to do this program, I want to invest this, but I'm gonna wait 24 hours just for the sake of waiting 24 hours. Like you're not gonna accept that. And it's not about being this like crazy like fighter and like fighting people on the calls. No, it's about just having those standards to the point where like you don't accept BS. You don't accept someone making excuses and holding themselves to a lower standard than they could be, because you see the potential in people. So this is all about ultimately helping people, you know, because the highest form of like love and like wishing people well and like just trying to help people is holding people to high standards. If you're talking to someone, for example, like a young guy who wants to make money online, he has these big goals of becoming an entrepreneur and all these different things. Your job, like you need to hold him to high standards, because that's what it's gonna take for him to get there. So if you're someone who, like, if you're on sales calls, when you're thinking about sales, you're like scared of like kind of being pushy, and you think that what I'm saying right now is pushy. Like, yeah, it might be a bit pushy in some ways, so you don't want to like seem too pushy on your sales calls, but also remember that the way that you serve other people and the way that you can help other people at the highest level is by pushing them to do things that are outside of their comfort zone. Because if you're not pushing people on your sales calls, if you're not actually like challenging people, then you're basically just like taking orders. And that's not what closing is about. Closing is about helping people make decisions that are uncomfortable. And people are always gonna fight a lot to stay inside of their comfort zone. And that's why your job needs to be a strong leader, be certain in your own life so you can show up to your sales calls and be confident enough to actually challenge people, call out their BS, hold them to high enough standards. Because most people, and this is kind of sad to be honest, but most people go around in their entire life, they have their friends, their family, and themselves in their own head, saying that what they're doing is fine, you know? They're waking up later, they're not taking action on their goals, they're scared to start their own business and get freedom or learn a high income skill. But they're just like accepting that, you know, they're telling themselves that it's fine, their parents are telling them that like, this is good, you should just go into the 9 to 5, take the safe path, blah, blah, blah. They don't have anyone that's out there that's challenging them, that's pushing them to be better, that's pushing them to go further. So that's why you need to be that person on your next sales call or your next role play, or if you're trying to get into sales, just like write this down. That you need to be the person that's going to be challenging people and holding them to high standards. And this all starts off with you becoming that leader internally and becoming that strong, confident version of yourself. So to give you some action steps you can actually start doing right now is start to never break promises to yourself. Never break another promise to yourself, and start off at a low level. Don't say that you're gonna wake up at like 4 a.m. every single day next week and then just like do that for a day and then drop off. Set out realistic things. Let's say you're gonna wake up 1 hour earlier. Let's say you're gonna work out for like 15 minutes every single day. You're gonna learn about sales every single day. You're gonna do 10 outreaches to potential businesses to go and sell for next week, every single day. Like, set out realistic things and then stick to those things every single day. Make it into what I call daily non-negotiables. Do things every single day and never miss on them. Me personally, I work out every single day in some type of way. I run, I go to gym, I do boxing, some type of thing every single day. I do sales every single day, so I improve in sales and learn sales some type of way from a mentor, from some sales training, whatever, every single day. So do things like that. Break down your goals into daily practice and do those things every single day, never miss. And that's going to develop confidence for yourself. Hold yourself and other people in your surrounding to higher standards. That's going to allow you to show up as a very, very strong and certain individual on your sales calls, and you'll be able to make more money. So hopefully this is valuable, and if you want help from me to get into remote high ticket sales, learn more stuff like this is basically just like the surface level of what I know when it comes to sales, because I've taken thousands of calls and closed a lot of deals doing this. If you want help from me to master sales, get into an actual sales role in the high ticket space and scale to 10K a month, click the link down below, apply down there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Any questions, DM me on Instagram, link as well down below, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao.